Bitcoin is crashing. Here's what to do next. But before I get into the video, guys, I want to talk a little bit about Coinbase. This is the way that I'm personally buying and selling Bitcoin. So I like Coinbase. It's very secure. The largest crypto wallet in the United States, over 35 million members. And if you guys sign up using the referral link in the description box below, you guys get a free $10 when you buy or sell at least $100 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, guys, so in this video, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Now, one of the reasons why I wasn't really talking about Bitcoin a lot, even though it's been running up quite a bit, is because I was quite aware that this would happen. So usually when we see, any type of traded, asset or stock or anything like that, time we see something of value that runs up really fast, there's usually going to be some pretty savvy investors that bought in, before the run up and are looking to take profits. So that's exactly what we're looking at Bitcoin. But the funny thing is that with Bitcoin crashing, it really isn't like crashing down to like where it previously was, like around, let's say, $3,000, back in April. It's basically come back to where it was on like January 4th. So it's basically a small retractment. It's nowhere near the lows of like around $3,000 or $4,000 a coin back during the beginning of the pandemic, the beginning of the whole health crisis. So the interesting thing right here is that a lot of people ended up buying Bitcoin kind of at this peak where there's a lot of resistance here, and now we're seeing a crash down. So how does this affect investors? How does this affect the Bitcoin stocks? And here's what to do next. Well, of course, I was talking a lot about, for you guys have been following me on my newsletter and things like that, I've been talking a lot about the Bitcoin stocks. So we're basically looking at three major Bitcoin stocks. So that's Marathon Patent Group, ticker symbol MARA, Riot Blockchain, ticker symbol RIOT, and Microstrategy, guys. So I'm going to pull up those three stocks because I want to talk a little bit more about those stocks as well, because these stocks are heavily correlated with Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin falls in price, these stocks are going to trade down as well. So let's pull those up. Okay, so here are my three favorite plays kind of with the Bitcoin stocks as well. So all of these stocks are of course down today. So as you can see here, over the last 6 months or so, the biggest gainer has been Marathon Patent Group. So that's actually my favorite one, because Marathon has plans this year to launch around over 100,000 Bitcoin miners. So that one was kind of my favorite stock. And then Riot is another Bitcoin miner. They're probably going to be the second largest one. And then, of course, I like MicroStrategy as well, because MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor, he was kind of a pioneer with corporations holding a lot of their cash reserves in Bitcoin. And this guy actually ended up taking out a loan, a $650 million loan, to buy more Bitcoins for MicroStrategy, and the company has around 70,000 Bitcoins. So obviously these stocks are down quite a bit because the price is heavily correlated with Bitcoin. So as you can see here, if we just take a look at this one-day chart, we can see that these stocks are down quite a bit. So MicroStrategy is down around 13%. They're basically all down around 13 to 16%, as the prices are closely correlated with Bitcoin. So for me personally, I haven't actually sold any of my Marathon. I haven't sold any of my MicroStrategy, because my thesis is that by the end of the year, we could see $1 million in Bitcoin. And the reason why is simply because there's basically two main factors that are going on here. So the first is scarcity, and the second is transactions performed. So the first thing I want to talk about is that let's take a step back and look at the overall price of Bitcoin over the long run. So if you take a look and we back up here to all the way here, we can see that obviously I think Bitcoin is up even more, because this chart kind of stops at 2015. But so far it says over the last 5 years or so, Bitcoin is up over 9,000%. So one of the reasons why Bitcoin is seemingly going up so much in price, and one of the reasons I think people just really don't understand about Bitcoin, is that Bitcoin is not really an asset, right? So when you talk about an asset, you're thinking about, on this channel, we talk a lot about stocks, and stocks are assets because, stocks are ownerships in real life businesses, and these businesses have revenue, earnings, employees, they own land a lot of times. They might have patents. They have, cash reserves, all of these things that make these companies valuable, and that's why people buy the stock. But Bitcoin is a little bit different. Bitcoin, there's no employees. Okay, the Bitcoin, doesn't have any earnings, it doesn't have revenue, and there's only 21 million coins in total, with only 18 million or so in total supply. So Bitcoin is not really an asset that you're going to like trade and go higher and things like that. It's a store of value. So if there's over like 6-7 billion people on planet Earth, but there's only 21 million Bitcoins, even if every single person in the world wanted a Bitcoin, there's just not enough to go around. And guys, for a long time, I've been a sports card collector, and recently we've seen a lot of sports cards go through the roof, even have some sports cards selling for, over $1 million. And usually these cards that are selling for over $1 million are very rare cards, meaning that like they're limited edition, 1 out of 1, meaning that's like the only card in the entire world. So for regular sports cards where there's like literally thousands of them printed, the price is going to be worth less. But for these one-of-one cards, if you're getting like a one-of-one card of like Giannis Antetokounmpo, or a one-of-one card of LeBron James or Bryce Harper or something like that, that card's going to be worth millions of dollars because that's the only one in the entire earth. If you want that card, you're going to have to pay up for it. So that's why I think Bitcoin is going to $1 million by the end of the year, because there's just not enough coins to go around. It's just simply a scarcity issue. There's billions of people and there's only 21 million coins. If everyone in the world wanted a coin, it just simply isn't possible. So even though we're looking at this dip here and we're looking at a lot of these Bitcoin stocks that are kind of dipping down, I think long-term Bitcoin and Bitcoin stocks are going to go through the roof. So now I want to talk about my second point about Bitcoin and why I'm not really selling any of it. I'm looking to buy more at this level because I feel like, I'm kind of glad it didn't run up to 50,000 and 60,000, because right now I'm kind of trying to, kind of minimize my portfolio and sell off a few positions that haven't done as well and kind of accumulate a capital to try to put more into Bitcoin stocks. And this reason why is simply transactions. So, one of the reasons why fiat money or the US dollar or whatever country you guys are in, wherever you guys are watching this from, maybe from Canada or Europe, one of the reasons why currency is valuable, it's not really backed by anything. So it's not like you could take your currency and trade it in for a piece of gold or a piece of silver or bronze or anything like that. It's simply valuable because we transact in it, right? So if I want to buy a loaf of bread, I'm going to use the US dollar. If I want to buy a computer, I'm going to use the US dollar. The number of transactions, the more transactions that take place, the more valuable dollars are. So if we take a look at Bitcoin and we take a look at the blockchain here. Here's a chart that's looking at the blockchain transactions over the last 10 or 11 years. So as you can see here, basically in 2009, 2010, like there were barely any transactions, right? So, but over time, more and more and more people are transacting. So basically around 8 years ago, there was only like 5,000 transactions a day. And now there's over 350,000 transactions a day. So do you really think that this graph is going to go down or up? Or more people going to be transacting in Bitcoin or less? Probably more, because a lot of people now are aware of Bitcoin. They saw the price run up. So even though the price ran up really fast and it's kind of crashed and things like that, the good thing is that more people are aware of it. So I think it's a really big mistake to bet against Bitcoin. I think that this is a nice buying opportunity. Remember now, this is the same price level that we had basically, a couple of days ago. It's not like a major crash where, as you see here, we were just at this price level, like Bitcoin crashed to like 10,000 or 5,000, but just pulling back to its previous levels a week ago, I'm not surprised, and it looks like that, as of late, there's a little bit of support. It looks like there's a little bit of support right here at $30,000. So if you can see, we could kind of draw a trend line here. We can see that if Bitcoin does break down past $30,000, then it could be headed much lower. But I think a lot of savvy investors are going to come in at around $30,000 a Bitcoin and buy some back up. It's just like getting a Bitcoin basically 25% off. So what that means for a lot of these Bitcoin stocks is that a lot of these Bitcoin stocks are on sale temporarily. So if we take a look at them, they're basically 12 to 15% off. So if we're looking at $1 million of Bitcoin by the end of the year, a lot of these Bitcoin stocks like Riot, Marathon, Microstrategy, basically correlated directly to the price. These stocks could 20 to 30x by the end of the year, basically just on the price of Bitcoin. So I know that sounds like a little bit crazy, but no one really thought Bitcoin was going to run up to $40,000 this year. I sure didn't think so. But as I've been studying more and more on Bitcoin and seeing that it's basically the scarcity and the number of transactions, I think that if you use this opportunity as like a dip buying opportunity. Obviously, do your own research and things like that. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose. But I think this is a nice opportunity to kind of get in on this ride, because it does look like we're going to head towards $1 million by the end of the year. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. What your thought is on Bitcoin. What are you thinking about these Bitcoin stocks? Are you selling? Are you buying? I'm really interested to know what you guys think. And we're going to talk a little bit more about cryptocurrency on this channel in the future, because a lot of these Bitcoin stocks are highly correlated towards Bitcoin, the underlying asset. So we're going to have to talk about Bitcoin in order to kind of really get a good idea on what's going on with these Bitcoin stocks. So that's it, guys. Please thumbs up this video if you enjoy this content, and smash the red subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to check out my private Discord chat. We talk about cryptocurrency and stocks and things like that. And be sure to grab my daily stock market newsletter. I publish that every Monday through Friday, and grab that clicking the link in the description. So that's it. Until next time, guys, take care.